Yo, 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 welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. Grab your vices, chillax. Let's get straight to it. This is episode 44 of Straightforward with Ms. B. I hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Just want to start off with that. My Thanksgiving was went quite well. Was with family, mainly with my pop's side of the family. My pops is from Ghana. So it was definitely wonderful just spending some time with his people, my little cousins, and things of that nature. And eating some good food, drinking hella wine. If anybody knows, Africans and, people from Europe or the UK, France, wine is basically like water. So there's always going to be wine at any given time, not just on holidays, but it's always going to be wine available. So yeah, so I had a wonderful Thanksgiving, just fellowshipping with family. Um, didn't do any work that day, so yeah, so I definitely took advantage of that time frame. So I hope everybody out there who's listening in had a wonderful Thanksgiving and also is getting their shopping on and getting things together for this Christmas holiday that's coming up in the next couple of weeks for us. I've been, myself taking care of some shopping. I got my mom out the way. I think I need to still thinking about my dad's gift and granny's gift. I'm still kind of up in the air on what I want to get those two, but I've gotten my mom out the way at least. So I don't have any kids, so for me, Christmas is not that very difficult to celebrate for me. So yeah, just waiting on Christmas, man. It's that time of year, and it's extremely, extremely cold. I guess that's a good thing because we are in the winter season. So yeah, I've been trying to just stay warm. If I'm not out shopping, just try to stay warm for sure. So today's podcast, man, I tell you, it's been a whole lot of shit going on since our last pod, episode 43. It seems like everywhere you turn, people's livelihoods, people's marriages, people's business opportunities, everything seems to be just fucking going up in smoke, man. I tell you, everywhere you turn. Um, so I wanted to just kind of take the time out and get into that a little bit and explore, several of these top stories that kind of hit the airwaves. Like I said, these past week or two, and I think it's would be very interesting to try to talk about them today. And definitely, I wanted to kind of switch up and bring a much lighter episode today because I feel like each week for the past couple of weeks we've been diving into deaths and talking about mental health concerns. So I wanted to just kind of switch it up a little bit today and keep a lighter mood going today. So this should be fun. All right, so let's see here. We're gonna start off. So for those of you who are music lovers, such as myself, one of my favorite genres of music is rhythm and blues or R&B, as most of us, know it by. And as far as black culture goes, and those who listen to R&B, there's been a lot of shit going on with the R&B group Xscape. For those of you that is not familiar with the group, that group is of female singers. They consist of Atlanta residents Tamika Tiny Harris, which she is married to rapper T.I., Candy Burris Tucker from, we know Candy from The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Latasha Scott, and Tamika Scott, and those are sisters. So This particular group have been around since the 90s. They're very extremely popular group in the R&B world and just music world in general. They were first found and signed to Jermaine Dupri's So Def label. However, they only released, I believe, during that time frame when they was, hot, hot out there in these streets. They only released, I believe, three albums. Three albums. Each of the albums, they came with hits, very, very hit, wide popular hit songs that ran up the charts as well. But after their third album, which was called Traces of My Lipstick, at that point, something happened, and Candy Burris decided that, hey, I'm gonna leave the group. I'm ready to leave the group and pursue a solo career. So that's kind of how the Xscape journey ended back in the day. And I definitely wanted to do initially this particular podcast. I wanted to dive into the whole issue with R&B groups, not necessarily R&B groups, but just musical groups in general. How we tend to see a lot of them who end up just disbanding, like they break up. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we see it's because of the various personalities within these groups. People can't necessarily get along, or if they do get along, maybe different people have different ideas on how the business of the group should be ran. They may fall out with managers and things of that nature. So we tend to see that a lot in the music world. I think for Escape, Escape, they was having some issues with the fact that um, many people, thought that the Scott sisters, who were a part of the group, had the stronger voices, um, and not like Candy or Tiny, who, by the way, Candy and Tiny throughout the years ended up, taking their talents as songwriters and penning, extremely popular songs that went to sell platinum, gold, records for other artists such as Beyonce and, Destiny's Child. So they've always kind of been able to continue to utilize their songwriting talents within the industry and still, be out there and make money and things of that nature. But back in the 90s, the rumors were that, Jermaine Dupri at some point began to place the Scott sisters, and especially I believe it was Latasha Scott, as kind of being the one in the group who was the lead. You know what I mean? Like her voice would kind of stand out. She was given the opportunity to, share her talents with her voice and lead a lot of the vocals. And apparently that kind of pissed off, I won't say it pissed off the entire group, but it definitely rubbed Candy Burris the wrong way, apparently. And that is what was, the reason behind her wanting to leave the group to pursue a solo career. Now, Candy did put out quite a few um singles here and there. I can't remember whether or not she put out a full project. She probably did. But she definitely has attempted to do the single career. But I don't think it ever really, it didn't really pan out for her probably as she expected. Luckily, Candy has always been one that we know of, that has been very well at managing her finances. So I'm sure she always, kept a check in her pocket, which she continued to do today. And then eventually she was able to get into the reality TV world and became, she was one of the, starting figures on the Bravo hit series Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, Candy has been able to kind of keep her star power there throughout the years, and it's been over 20 something years since they entered, the entertainment industry. Um, however, just some of the rumors in regards to um, the group disbanding. Tamika Scott at one point had alleged that the group broke up not because of Latasha taking the lead vocals, but in fact, they broke up because Jermaine Dupri and Candy supposedly had begun sleeping together. So I'm sure how that, if that is true, I'm sure how that definitely was a conflict of interest for the group. Um, and hey, the group just probably wasn't having it. And because of them sleeping together, Candy had it in her mind or felt as though she was entitled to more lead vocals, on their records. Um, but however, Jermaine Dupri kind of, you know, stuck to his first mind and allowed Latasha to remain kind of being the lead, or just having a lot of the main vocal parts on their songs. And Candy decided to to leave at this point. So fast forward, that happened in the 90s, early 2000s. Now we're gonna fast forward to today, right? 20 years later. um it's been rumblings, and I believe it may have been a little bit of marketing advertising at this point. They are Xscape. Is supposed to be coming out with a new reality TV show with them, along with R&B group SWV. I believe Mona Scott Young, who is the brainchild of Love and Hip Hop, the Love and Hip Hop reality show franchises, is supposed to also be executive producing this show as well with the ladies. So within the last couple of months, I'll say within the last few months, there has been things that's just been kind of happening, and fans of Xscape have noticed that, hey, something ain't right with this group. Something looks like, something's going on with the group, right? So, um, recently, the group was honored with the Lady of Soul Award at the 2022 Soul Train Awards show. And let's give them some applause for that, because congratulations to the ladies for being honored. I think that is very, very well deserved for those ladies. Because even though they had stopped for years putting out music, they only produced 3 albums as a full group. They have, within the last few years, been able to kind of pick up their singing and musical careers back up, and they've been doing a lot of tours. I think they're actually supposed to have some type of show, R&B experience or something that's happening here in Atlanta on this weekend as well. So they've been, back on the road doing their shit. But just to give a little context to the success of the group actually has sold over 7 million records, 7 million records. And I think that is commendable, of them. However, at the Soul Train Awards, though, the red carpet is where many people really kind of looked at the group and said, wait, one damn minute, something is not right. And that's because Latasha, she showed up in a gown that was a total different color from the rest of the girls. Xscape is one of those groups who kind of keeps it on that Destiny's Child, Supremes, In Vogue type of level where when we present ourselves as a group out in public, we always try to at least have the same, if not the same type of clothing on, we at least want to always continue to be color code coordinated, right? But for some reason that fans didn't know, Latasha showed up in a different color dress. Let me pull up the picture here on my phone because I did save it. So the ladies basically were in, Candy, Tamika, and it's Tomika and a Tamika. All three of them basically had on these like diamond sequins, silver, grayish silver type of gowns, right? But here comes Latasha, not even smiling in the photos. She shows up in kind of like this satin greenish yellowish type of color. I don't know, I don't know the names of these fancy colors, but she was not in sync with the rest of the group. So that definitely raised the eyebrows of all of their fans. And we all were wondering like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? What is she doing? You know what I'm saying? So apparently word has come out is that Latasha over the summer decided, I don't know, she probably previous decided, but according to them over the summer, Latasha basically began to embark on her own solo career and had begun missing group performances. Apparently, she wasn't showing up to like tour dates and things of that nature. So it's like, okay, what's up with Latasha? So they're basically saying that she's kind of been on the solo thing. The promoter or manager that she's working with, she's kind of been having like attitudes, not showing up probably to practices and things of that nature. But and the girls basically, social media just kind of speculating so many things, and the girls now are doing interviews about it as well and telling their side of the story. Basically, they try to kind of keep everything behind closed doors, but I think they are now kind of verbally spewing what's been going on. And I think that it's very, very, it's a sad thing for them to go through this. It wouldn't be the first time, so they're kind of used to it, right? But the thing about it is that I wanted to bring this situation up. Although they're going up in smoke, they still have the ability to stick together, right? Stick together. One thing that Latasha is probably going to find out, but whether she care or not, she's probably not going to be able to. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay her, but she may not necessarily have a successful solo career. She might go out there, jump out there the same way that Candy did back in the day and just, you know, figure out, hey, maybe I'm better off sticking with the group. Maybe the group as a whole can sell more records than I am able to do as a solo artist. Sometimes these people be in these groups. Like there's so many other groups that kind of disbanded because of disagreements or whatever the case may be. You got Brownstone. You got what's the other groups called? Jodeci, Drew Hill. It's so many other groups in Vogue. All of these groups had situations that occurred in it to where, people wasn't seeing, group members were not seeing eye to eye, or feel like, one or two people may have felt like, hey, I'm the actual star in the group. I lead the group. I'm singing the vocals. I'm the one with the best or strongest voice. And they feel as though that they have all that is needed to go out and have a successful solo career. And that's not always the case, especially with a group like Xscape, where it's like, although them on an individual basis have had the opportunity to kind of create their own stardom. You know what I'm saying? As a whole, they've been able to kind of create their own, I would say, individual stardom. Like I said, Candy does her thing. Tiny does her thing, and she's married to, a very popular hip hop artist, Ti. So she's kind of created her own little sphere and platform and stardom, as an individual. Tamika and Latasha, I think they've had their own stardom by being a part of Xscape, but for many years they kind of just they lived a very quiet, it seems like a quiet life. You know what I'm saying? They really wasn't into what was going on in TV and media, and you know what I mean? You really didn't hear a lot about them. So um Escape is known to be a four-person group, you know what I mean? And fans want to continue to see that way, you know what I mean? So Latasha, I don't know, sister. I don't know how successful you would be as a solo artist. I really don't know, but I guess you would never know if you don't try. So, I wish her all of the luck, and hopefully these ladies can come to some type of common ground that will be beneficial and you know beneficial for all of them, where they can at least continue to stay cordial for the sake of the group and for the sake of their fans. However, I think at this stage in the game, and also if you look at their ages, they're all over 40. So at this stage in the game, I just think that sticking as a group will be best for them, and the solo careers to just kind of hang that shit up. Anyway, on to the next. On to the next. All right. So, speaking of speaking of reality TV, let's get into this real quick. So, Todd and Julie Chrisley, they were some Caucasian reality TV stars of Chrisley's Knows Best. I forgot what cable station network that appeared on. However, the two basically was sentenced recently to. Todd was given 12 years and Julie 7 years. Both of them have an additional 3 years of supervised probation, I believe, for multi-million dollar bank fraud. So they had been living it up on the reality show. If you guys kind of remember or have tuned in once or twice, they seem to be kind of very kind people. They lived in the north side, out north of Atlanta, very well-to-do, gated community, had a very nice home, all the, luxuries of life, and you would see all of these luxuries on television, but apparently, hey, they was on the back end frauding. Ain't that some shit? So now all of their kids, their family, just I'm sure at this point was embarrassed. And hopefully they'll be able to, as far as like their kids continue on and make good with themselves, while their parents spend time in prison. Now I don't know if they will have to. I think with federal prison sentences, you have to do, I believe, 85% of your time. So yeah, so they'll be in there for a little bit. However, they will not be in there forever. So they'll give them the opportunity to go in and use that opportunity in prison to um you know do their time, hopefully figure out right from wrong, change their life around so that when they get out, I'm sure the media and these networks will still be there and will probably want to chronicle their lives after they, exit from prison. So they'll still have opportunities to make money, but apparently it's just probably one of these situations where, these type of things don't necessarily always affect black people, as people always think black people don't know how to, manage their money, and they always doing this and they always blowing money fast and scamming and things of that nature. But as you can see, other races do as well. So we need to kill that stereotype. Other races do as well. Hey, I'm just glad to see that they're doing their time, that they were found guilty and for stealing millions and things of that nature, and now they just have to pay the price, to suffer the consequences. And it's just a shame. And then another thing I wanted to add to that is that apparently hell, they might have been able to kind of continue on with the scam if it hadn't have been for an ex-boyfriend. So apparently, even though Todd and Julie Chrisley was quote unquote married, which may have been all for TV, apparently Todd had an ex-boyfriend, which to me, you look at Todd on TV, he looks a little fruity to me. He acts a little fruity. All you see is Botox face. Look like he probably had a facelift at some point. But yeah, he's a little on the feminine side. He apparently had a man. He was gay. And his ex-boyfriend is rumored to be the one that contact the federal authorities on them. He snitched them out. They said that the two were together, had an affair starting in 2000, and it lasted for 12 years. They ended or broke up, however you want to call it, in 2012. Apparently, I guess the ex-boyfriend got pissed off. Like, hey, he probably looking at Julie and looking at the kids and them living his high life. And here come the ex-boyfriend was like, nigga, I was with you for 12 years and I didn't get none of this shit. So, hey, ain't nothing like a man scorn. Fuck a woman. Ain't nothing like a man scorn. And he decided to go to the authorities, and he was working with the feds. And that's how the Chrisleys' empire basically crumbled. Ain't that some shit? I know one thing. If this don't teach you nothing, it need to teach you the fact that, hey, please make sure the people that you're dealing with, especially when you're in a relationship or marriage or a long-term relationship with somebody or common law, sometimes you need to make sure that you treat them people good during the relationship. Or at least when you get to the point where you feel as though you no longer want to be with that individual, figure out how you can break up with them, leave them, divorce them, however you want to put it, in the most amicable way possible, without the other person feeling some type of way. Because it's a lot of people out here that love the word revenge. They love the word revenge. They love the get back. And when you move on from that person and enter your next situation or relationship or marriage, and especially if you are living good, you're succeeding, you're happy, that pisses people off, especially those exes. And then what does that do next? Drive them motherfuckers crazy. And when it drives them crazy, the next thing that may come, them calling the feds on you. You know what I'm saying? Them snitching on you. You know what I'm saying? Or them causing some type of physical harm on you. You just never know. Or they come and key your car up, flatten your tires. People are just crazy out here. So if you break up with somebody or leave them, you definitely have to be extremely leery and weary of that person and how that person may react whether how they're going to react in that very moment during the breakup or how they may react years down the line after the breakup. You just never know how people is going to act at all. You know what I'm saying? So just something to think about, y'all. All right. So the next thing I wanted to discuss is speaking of relationships, right? We got another situation here where an affair was involved. Oh my God. So news came out today, actually, that Good Morning America's host T.J. Holmes and Miss Amy Robach. I'm not sure how that is pronounced, but basically, them two have been snuggling and cuddling while being married to their own spouses. Okay? So according to People magazine, and I'm just reading off here, Amy Robach and TJ Holmes, apparently a source says that this not necessarily an affair, right? It's not necessarily an affair, right? Because they did not begin dating until after they separated from their spouses, says the source. Right. Okay. The couple's relationship was publicly revealed actually on Wednesday, yesterday, when photos of them holding hands in a car and cozying up at a bar during a vacation in upstate New York surfaced. They both shut down their Instagram accounts just hours later. Ain't that some shit? They was caught, baby. And then I also, side note, I just saw a video on Instagram showing them where it looks like a private investigator or somebody had been following them. They were loading the back of their limo, like putting luggage in the back of the trunk or whatever the case may be. And she was in the trunk fooling around with the bags, and he was walking past her. Looks like they was on a trip somewhere. He was walking past her and he hit her on the ass with his hand. So yeah, they had a private investigator, whoever the spouses were, or shit, ABC, whoever, the network, somebody had a private investigator following their ass this whole goddamn time. And they didn't even know it. But anyway, People magazine goes on to say, the source says that there was no overlap between the GMA co-anchors' romance and their respective marriages. Quote unquote, this was just two consenting adults who were each separated. They both broke up with their spouses in August within weeks of each other. The relationship didn't start until after that. Child, how long they been working together? I tell you, people would just lie. Even the sources would lie, man. They just lie. It says Robot 49 years old. She's married to actor Andrew Shue, while TJ Holmes, 45, is married to an attorney, Marley Feibig. Both couples actually got married in 2010. The source continued to say, she's got nothing to hide. They were both separated, so they felt very comfortable dating in the open after that. Their spouses had moved out, even, so they were not hiding anything. The insider also tells People that Robach, I might be pronouncing the lady's name wrong, plans to be on the air Thursday morning. Of course, she's going to have to talk about it. Another source previously told People that Holmes and Robach's colleagues were somewhat surprised to see the new photos, though the pair's chemistry had been on display in the newsroom for quite some time. Quote unquote, there were rumors they were having an affair about a year ago, that source said. A lot of people believe there might have been some truth to it, because you can see there's a mutual affection there, but everyone ultimately chalked it up to friendship because they always said they were both happily married. Holmes joined the GMA team in 2014 and immediately struck up a close connection to Robach. She previously told People about their friendship. They said, hey, we want to bring a co-anchor. They said, hey, we want to bring on a co-anchor. What do you think of TJ Holmes? And I almost fell out my chair. My God, you couldn't have picked a better person to ask me what I thought of because we've been trying to figure out a way to work together for literally the last 5 years. So they've been looking at each other, apparently. Okay. So yeah. Robach also told People about their double dates. Their double dates with Shu and Fibig, their spouses, well, estranged spouses now. The moment he started at ABC, I think we just clicked. We've gone on tons of double dates with our spouses, and my daughters babysit his daughters. The recent photos, says People magazine, aren't the first time Robach and Holmes have been spotted together off screen. Back in 2021, of April 2021, Robach shared a photo of herself and Holmes on the streets of New York during one of their marathon training sessions. So yeah, so they look like apparently they've been having, you know, they've been seeing eye to eye, real close eye to eye. For quite some time, for several years. So they do the morning show. They're with each other. This is how these workplace romances, this is how they kick off. The person you see every single day for 8 to 9 hours a day. Hey, a lot of people tend to start, liking them, and they start dating and hunching and doing everything else. So it looks like this is probably what happened with these two. And I guess it's just a sad situation. I don't know what the couples, the spouses think about it. Maybe at some point the word will come out. They may make a statement. Who knows? But it's going to be interesting to see how this thing, kind of pans out, because as we saw with the Celtics, and Nia Long and her man, how if he was having an affair with a staff member, they just straight up fired the man, suspended him. So it's like, I guess different industries maybe handle these type of situations in different manners, but it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this. Now, if Robach and Holmes have been able to, keep this away from the job and have that type of relationship away from the job, that's fine. But if they are, in fact, traveling to other places, going on site to do news reporting and things of that nature, and fooling around with each other while at work in that sense, then yeah, that's some HR shit right there that they need to figure out how they're gonna handle it. Okay. All right. So moving right along. So as you know, the man who has been going weeks and weeks, past month or two, and cannot keep his mouth shut, is Mr. Kanye West, or AKA, as he go by now, Ye. Kanye West visited Alex Jones. Alex Jones is the guy I talked about a couple of weeks ago about freedom of speech ain't free. Alex Jones, conspiracy theorist. And he has a show called Info Wars. Well, Kanye West finally mosey his little ass on down to Jones's show to be interviewed, where he came out of his mouth to profess that, quote unquote, I see good things about Hitler. Child. Kanye West praised Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. He denied the Holocaust and attacked Jewish people again at length during a disturbing interview today with conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. And this is pulled this from the Rolling Stone, and I also got the opportunity to actually look at that portion of that interview as well. Let me try to pull it up real quick here on my phone so that we can get into the audio of this mess. Okay? Because I want you guys to hear it from the motherfucking horse's mouth. But let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Kanye. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. Here's the other part.
You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also. I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can love us, and you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts, and you can love what we're pushing with the pornography. But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician. You can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good, and I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler.
You're not a
Oh my God. Kanye. I mean, you talking about people tearing his ass up on social media, especially on fucking Twitter, yo. Like what? I mean, it's so crazy how he's manic, right? At least I think so. And the fact that Kanye believes that what he does is like justified is crazy. And not necessarily what he does, but what he says is justified is crazy. Like it's like in 2005, here you go talking about George Bush doesn't care about black people, but then now in 2022 you talking about I like Hitler. Like nigga, if you don't go on, Kanye is sick, yo. I will always support his music. I love his music. But this rhetoric, his ideologies, is just, it's so far out of hand. It is so fucking far out of hand, man. It's embarrassing, not only to the black culture, it's just embarrassing to all his fans, his young fans, and to think that he says he's running for president for 2024. Like no one is, just like Trump said, and I can agree with Trump on this one. Dude, don't run. No one. You might have a handful of voters, but you're going to be wasting money. You're going to be wasting money trying to run, Kanye. However, I don't like to kill no one's dream. If it is his dream to be the president, okay, do what you got to do. Attempt to live out your dream. But some things is just, dude, you're not helping the situation. You're not helping. Every other week we come in here and we talk about something that Kanye has said, some outlandish ass shit that he says, and then you have this subset of people who take every word he says, and then he try to play us as if gotcha. That little meme that's going around with him saying gotcha, like, no, dude, you didn't get us, they got you. And you trying to save face because of Adidas dropping you and Balenciaga. Well, I want to talk about that in a second. Them two, I mean, Gap, all of these business contracts that you had with them and situations is just down the drain now. They dropped you, dog, and you lost millions and millions of dollars. But you're going to come back and say, gotcha, like it was just part of your plan so that you can finally be independent as far as like this fashion stuff goes. No, you didn't get us. You just trying to save face now. And now you talking about you like Hitler. Man, Kanye, if you don't go on. But let me go ahead because this is a very long pod today, I see. Balenciaga. Yo. Balenciaga. Balenciaga has had situation that happened with one of their recent kid ads. For those who not familiar with Balenciaga is a luxury fashion brand that basically came out with a 2022 Christmas campaign. It was two ad campaigns that apparently was shot by a photographer, a female named Gabriele Galimberti. It's either Galimberti, Galimberti. And there was also a spring 2023 campaign that was shot by a Chris Maggio. The Christmas campaign was the one that featured the teddy bears. The teddy bears basically were like this BDSM, S&M. If you don't know what that means, go ahead and Google it. Style leather gear with bandage and things of that nature. The bears basically in the video with the kids were actually plush. They're basically handbags that Balenciaga has crafted that's in the shape of teddy bears. The teddy bears, however, like I said, adorn leather straps. So you can definitely see that it was extremely provocative and evocative of this S&M wear. If you are familiar with that lifestyle. The spring campaign, the one that was shot by Mr. Maggio, it features a future Balenciaga collaboration with Adidas, interestingly, right? Both brands have recently had to cut ties, as I just mentioned, with Kanye West over, various controversies. However, the Balenciaga and Adidas bag, in that particular ad campaign, it showed an office environment, and sitting on top of a pile of papers were folders, laptops, and legal documents. The legal documents however, is what caused the controversy in this particular spring 2023 campaign. One of the documents shows a text from a Supreme Court decision, which was related to the Protect Act, which was a 2003 federal law that states child pornography is not protected by free speech. Right. So once these ad campaigns kind of came out, the media, everybody is in an uproar. It didn't take long for word to spread. After the text of the document was actually, it was pointed out by a Twitter user last week, people just kind of began to be extremely furious. You had fashion industry commentators that came out and spoke. You had Fox News anchors come out and say something about it. Basically, Balenciaga has now pulled both of the ad campaigns from social media. Kim Kardashian, who, like I said, basically, um, Kanye West had a collaboration with Balenciaga, and so their kids and even Kim oftentimes wore Balenciaga. She's actually now come out because she was like I said, she not only wears but was an ambassador of the brand as well. She's come out with an official statement, basically stating that she will be reevaluating her relationship with the brand. The creative director, Dimna Zvasfalia, basically, she was set to receive the Business of Fashion's Global Voices Award next week for using its platform to interrogate social political issues and support marginalized people. However, it looks like the publication stated on Instagram that they are rescinding that award from him. Child. So, people was wondering, like, so Balenciaga basically is placing the blame on the advertising agencies. However, somebody at Balenciaga had to approve the campaign. Somebody at Balenciaga had to approve the campaigns, right, before they went out to press. Excuse me. So, some of the details that have come out about this is that there were 3 parties involved: Balenciaga, the ad agency called North Six, and also the 2 photographers, which was Chris Maggio and Gabrielle Galimberti, right? Who were hired by Balenciaga. All right. So now Balenciaga came out with a statement and basically has filed also a $25 million lawsuit against North Six. The North Six ad agency, basically for being responsible for the spring ad featuring the Supreme Court documents. However, but the lawsuit is not against the photographers. Well, one of the photographers, Chris Maggio. Balenciaga called the inclusion of the document in the ad specifically. We talked about that ad about the Protect Act, malevolent, or at the very least extraordinarily reckless. And this kind of reminds me, I don't know if you guys are Netflix watchers, but when it comes to these ad agencies and big corporations hire them basically for like their marketing campaigns, this reminds me about the Pepsi documentary, where Pepsi Where's My Jet, how this ad agency basically was working with oh sorry y'all this ad agency was working with Pepsi back in the 80s, and they put out this visual ad, and in the ad basically oh Lord, basically the ad promoted the fact that that people could win kind of like this fighter jet for 7 billion points. But then they later came back and said it was a joke. And then the guy who actually came up with the 7 million points of the money to enter the contest ended up trying to sue. Ended up, filing a lawsuit, and it was just a whole bunch of back and forth in the courts and stuff like that, right? I need to hurry up and end this podcast. This has gone on long enough. But let me hurry up. So they got this $25 million lawsuit against the ad agency. However, a representative from North Six, they told the New York Post the company had no creative control over the content of the ad, and that Chris Maggio hasn't made a statement. Gabrielle Galimberti, one of the other photographers, she was the one who shot photos of the teddy bear ad. She said in a statement on Instagram, excuse me, Gabrielle Galimberti. Okay, so Gabrielle is not a female, it's a male. Apparently, he went on Instagram also and stated that he was given no control over the creative content of his shoot other than the details like the lighting and the framing. The content, pairing the child models with the teddy bear bag, it was already decided before he was even hired, he said. So it looks like Balenciaga is trying to place the blame on everybody fucking else except them motherfucking selves. They know they was dead wrong. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out from a legal standpoint. However, from a moral standpoint, we always see these things that come out in the open when it comes to anything dealing with children and sexuality and things of that nature. The two should never be paired together. It's a shame that a luxury brand of this magnitude did not have some type of quality control. Like, who does the final approval of these photos? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they have somebody in house that does that, but the person who does that, for them to even have look at these ads and say, hey, okay, we're gonna go ahead and send these out to press, it's a goddamn shame. It's a goddamn shame. And that tells a lot about the person or executives in leadership, where their moral standards are. And it's a shame. It's a shame. So, but hey, other luxury fashion houses have had some type of issues. Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana, like all these other fashion houses. I can understand you want to push the envelope. You want to have political statements, social political statements within these ads to sell your products. However, there's kind of still a fine line of things that you should and should not do, or should or should not be allowed. But however, if you are willing to take that risk, you need to be willing to take the consequences of however the public is going to react to it. And if that means, hey, the public now is going to stop buying your products, which means you're going to lose millions and millions of dollars, then hey, stand on it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me get my sick ass out of here. Anyway, it was a lot going on this episode 44, straightforward with Ms.B. As you can see, you guys, I have sinus issues kind of year round, and I just try to keep myself as healthy as I possibly can, and that's what I'm about to do now. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Tune in next week. Don't forget to follow us on social media, straightforward Ms.B, and stream us and check us out Sundays, YouTube Live as well. Until next time.